This is video number 12. We're going to work on the starter slash generator. Up there on top is the coil. Over there is the distributor. It's all one piece. The generator is activated by that shaft. And when you kick the starter switch, there's a gear back there that attaches that to the flywheel. Up on top there is a coil. Study that for a minute. This has never been touched in 80 years by human hands. Maybe you've seen some cars this old that have been restored 5 or 6 times and you don't even know which parts are original and which parts are whatever they could find. This is how they were, 100% original. Spark plug wires go into that hose, that metal pipe there, to keep them from flapping around where they get banged on by the push rods going up and down. Feast your eyes, just study that. That distributor cap is exactly how it was 80 years ago, except for the fact that I took off this. See, the wires on this end are, there's a brass screw in there that goes to a screw stud sticking out the top. That's brass also. You don't just stick it on. These things are hard to find. The other end of the wire, on the coil wire or the spark plug wires, there's this rubber fitting that attaches this copper Once I get that cap off, I'll get back to you. Under the cap is a rotor. There's the points. Everything looks the same as it always did. That rotor has a spring on that. It's a flat contact on it with the spring. The underside of the cap, there's your cap below the wires. It's flat. Spring. Rotor comes off just like it does in a normal. Look at how you adjust the points. Is that on a wheel? It's on a wheel. I can't wait to see. And the points are held in by a cotter pin. I don't see any condenser. Making a new set of spark plug wires. There's the old ones. 9mm rubber wire over there. You've seen the terminals. We're going to reuse the original terminals. Reuse the original spark plug-in terminals as well. I'm going to show you what this has in it. The copper strand in the middle of this is 12 gauge. Try to get the best I can to as close to the original as possible. There's a battery box. There's a battery box hanger. Here's where the battery goes. I took that all out because I had to get the transmission out when I was changing the clutch. I've never had a battery in this thing. Here's the positive terminal. Goes up there to the starter motor. Ever see a 100-year-old battery terminal before? Looks like a modern terminal. Negative. There it is. It's a lead. This whole thing is lead. Not just this, but that whole strap there. See that strap? It's lead. This lead strap attaches to this iron bracket, which grounds it to the car. I don't like that. I'm a big believer in ground straps. I'm going to put a real ground strap, probably going over to the transmission over here or something. Or maybe over to the torque ball. That looks like a good one. And there you go. That's where the battery's going to be. Okay, battery holder's in, battery's in and grounded on the ground strap. You see that I put a ground strap over there, bypassed. This is the original ground strap. I bypassed it and I put a nice piece of number 2 gauge over to the transmission. That'll ground it. Now I'm going to try and see if I can see what happens when I put the positive terminal on. I'm going to do it from the other side because I'll be closer to where I can smell the smoke. What I want you to do is watch this gauge to see if that comes on. If you smell smoke, let me know. If you see fire, call 911. Any sparks when I go like this? No. Don't smell any smoke. Of course, nothing's on. If I don't smell smoke in 5 seconds, I'm going to put this terminal actually on. The only sign of life this car has is the horn works, and the ammeter works when the horn... Watch the ammeter over there. See it jiggling? Starter generator is out of the car. It's been restored, cleaned, tested. New brushes, all new brushes. If I had the new brushes, I put them in. If I didn't have, I would take the new brushes out of those starter generators. Got 5 different brushes. This is where they are. Or some of them are. 2 of them are in here. 1 down here in this mechanism. Look at the gear for the starter motor. That gear goes there. You see right now, that's the flywheel. One of the gears is meshed in with the flywheel, and then this gear here, it meshes with the gear on the starter motor. And when it's out, there's no solenoid. It's your foot. Now it's out of gear. The generator is free to spin. The flywheel is free to spin. And that gear is moved by this, which is driven by your foot. Starter motor is back in. It's not going to start. The distributor cap is off. But watch this. The generator is motoring. Look at that. Motoring the generator. And the coil is smoking. Why is the coil smoking? Better turn that off. Smoking from that resistor thing at the tip of it. Caps on, new spark plugs are in. That's the part that drives the generator. This shaft drives the generator part. You saw where the motor part goes. When the generator part is attached like it is now, since I put the taper pin back in, this is what it sounds like when you motor the generator. Check that out. That's the clutch. That clicking sound is the clutch. Because the generator is moving, but the shaft that drives it is not moving. When the engine is running, that moves, and the generator moves. Starter generator is in. Ready for the test run. Motoring the generator. Crank it. It didn't start because it's got no gas in. I was just testing out the starting system. I say it's a success.